individuals with different skill sets from different teams and different regions, and really bringing them together, leading them towards a common goal to meet marketing and business objectives, but yet keeping customers front and center of what we do. So my question to you is, if your business was a social ship, what would it look like? Would it be a bit like this cruise liner that's floating to somewhere, but it's clearly a behemoth kind of machinery that's in the sea? Or is it a traditional, aerodynamically efficient, what they call the square rigger tall ship, most famously used during the 16th to the mid-18th century during the age of sail? Or is it actually more of the functional, reliable cruise, container ship, sometimes stretching to more than 400 meters long? Or is it a much smaller, relatively nimble, faster, the single-mast sloop yacht? Include B2B social ship, find an image online, upload it on Twitter. I'd love to understand what your social ship looks like today. It'll be a cool social experiment. Look, the path to purchase has evolved. We talked about it earlier on. The decision-making process in your customers, your prospects and customers' perspective has moved on beyond the C-suite, the IT departments. Clearly, influencers and users are influencing which partners, suppliers that they go towards. Google says that today's business buyers do not contact a supplier until 57% of the purchase process is complete. This numbers varies. It's 57, it's 70%, but clearly this number is increasing year to year. What this means is that today's business buyers, IT decision makers, influencers have already made more than half the decision whether or not to go with you or the competitors or any potential partners or suppliers or any other suppliers that might be out there. Why and how is this possible? It's clearly because the prospect today is empowered by unlimited access information to your product, your brand, your competitors, and how you can help them solve their challenges. Or maybe there isn't much information on there. So it's clearly, from a B2B perspective, it's a great opportunity to think about how you can engage with your prospects early, help shape their customers' agenda. How do you change or reinforce the perception that you are the thought leader, that you understand their needs, you have the products that address their needs, and that you are able to help them differentiate themselves with their competitors as well. A couple of stats from Salesforce 2015 State of Marketing report earlier this year. Across businesses, B2B, B2C, which they interviewed, they said that there are three most pressing business challenges. Doesn't come as a surprise. Grow the business, improve quality of leads, and to keep up to date with marketing technology. 84% of them said that they will either retain or increase their budgets this year and into next. And the top three areas where they feel that they will spend more money on this year and into next is social media advertising, social media marketing, and social media engagement. It might be a surprise for some of you. For me, clearly it's not. We are increasing our budgets year on year around these three areas. But as social media matures from an understudy over the last couple of years to a headline this year and over the next couple of years, it doesn't come without challenges. Perhaps half of us in this room is still having difficulty proving the return on investment on social media. Perhaps that's what's causing visual bibliophobia. And there isn't really one metric that I've discovered that really can define a social media strategy. It needs to be a combination of reach, engagement, and conversion. So what does your social conversion, leads, nurturing, generation funnel looks like? There was obviously a lot more detail that was covered early on in the strategy slides. But if you were to ask me, there were three particular metrics on this slide which I've been the most proud of. One is I was able to attribute, because of social, year on year there was an incremental 25% leads increase. And that means attributing it to a certain landing page because of social activity that was first discovered by a series of LinkedIn posts. It was a particular story from a blog post that led to a download of a white paper, which we then mapped into Eloqua or Adobe, etc. That's one. Number two, internally, there is a renewed energy about what social media can do for a salesperson. I've got 1,200 sales colleagues, market development, business development, frontline facing colleagues who have signed up to say, I want some marketing approved content. I want to improve my LinkedIn networks. I've got Twitter accounts, but I don't know what to share. So we've started this whole channel of distribution list where we send out a social media post of the day where we'll give them a suggestion, something about big data, something about cryptocurrencies, something about what's happening about a webinar in Asia, etc. And the last one is externally. We've managed through our free official showcase pages on LinkedIn, gain 10,000 plus followers. So we're starting to build this community of prospects, customers, partners who have said, yep, I'm following this page. I want to hear what Thomson Reuters has to say about the challenges I face. So there are really 8 tips or 8 weapons, if you like, which I'll talk about over the next 15, 20 minutes on how to power up your social ship to deliver return on investment. Senior level engagement, measurement, content plan. I'll go through each of these in detail. All of these should ideally run in parallel, I feel. But if you would have asked me, I would say start from the top. So first is how social is your C-suite? If you are in that position, how social are you? Are you leading by example? 83% of companies surveyed said that they're not leveraging the full power of social media with reasons that we talked about earlier. But what's more shocking is that only 50% of these companies say that out of the C-suite are convinced about the value of social media. I heard a stat 2 weeks ago, 90% of FTSE 100 companies have a corporate Twitter account, but only 10% of those same 90% of the CEOs are on Twitter. Why that discrepancy? It's clearly companies are recognizing that they need to have a corporate presence, but yet social has always been about social, that authenticity, that personality. So perhaps aim to have at least one of your senior leads on board. It's not easy. This was a journey that we worked with through nurturing. For 3 to 4 months, we worked with the president of my business, David Craig. Obviously, opportunities to demonstrate authenticity, humanize the organization. At the end of the day, your prospects, customers go to you because, yes, capabilities, product needs to work, but also that your salespeople, that your senior management and your company direction is headed to where your prospects is most aligned to. It's an opportunity for your C-suite to be an industry thought leader as well, no matter what industry it is. And I think it demonstrates commitment that the organization is getting serious on social, and it helps sell the programs downstream much easier. Look, but this doesn't come without fears, challenges, barriers. One of the tips which I have is to show them examples of what the competitors are doing or what similar players in other similar industries are doing. And obviously train up, work on one platform. Obviously it will be LinkedIn for us, literally a month-to-month meeting, half an hour where we talk about his social media profile, because clearly if these guys are out speaking at events, at panel discussions, they are going to be looking on his social media profiles, LinkedIn or Twitter. Surely it needs to be a picture where it is updated and it's authoritative and it shows who that person is. Don't be afraid to partner up as well. He or she needs to understand that there is support from PR, from corporate comms, from marketing, etc. Because I believe that there's a concept of envy. If you play with one, if you go with one, more will come, and it's starting to have a much more downward effect from the sales business leaders down to his middle management, etc. So let's talk about measurement then. I guess one of the key things is, do you know what you want to measure? Because we say that, yeah, we've got difficulty improving ROI, but most of the time we don't really know what we really want to measure. Like Lionel Richie says, is it leads that you're looking for? Because if you're trying to prove that social can drive leads nurturing or leads generation, which we have started that journey about 15 months ago, then perhaps the first thing is to define what leads are within your organization. It is shocking that I have conversations internally and with other organizations that leads can be defined differently in different product lines, different parts, different regions of the business. So get that right. Because 16% of us say that, even though it's 50% that say we don't really know how to measure ROI, only 16% of us say that we are completely or most of the time able to measure social ROI. This is because there's a